Okay. I want everyone to please take out their notebooks and open up their Canvas. Once you have your Canvas open, I want you to go to week 1. You'll see vocab quizzes. Every Thursday, I post the quizzes on Canvas. Every Thursday. So your last quiz of the week is Wednesday. On Thursdays, I post. Once I post it on Thursdays, you can begin making it up, and it's going to be open until the end of the 9 weeks. I'm very flexible on makeup work. I'm very inflexible on a lot of things, and I have very high standards and high expectations for my students. But makeup work, I'm pretty flexible on. I understand that I give a lot of work, and because of that, I do give you grace, and my grace is my makeup. So I don't have like, oh, you have to have it in with 3 days. Like, you got big problems, I got little problems. That's a little problem of mine. So I don't care when you make it up, but it does need to be made up before the end of the grading period. Doesn't that make a lot of sense? The faster you make things up here in AP World, the easier your life is because things start stacking up. Okay, you log into Canvas on Thursdays. You will go to quizzes and you will see an embedded document. If you click on it, this is what it looks like. You'll see all 3 quizzes for the week. It's on Canvas. You can do this at home. You can do this in the cafeteria. You can do it in your 7th period. No, you can't do it in 7th period because this is 7th period. You can do it in your 1st period if you want to. I don't care. How do you make a quiz up? You're going to take out a notebook piece of paper. Make sure your name's on it. And you're going to write 1 through 5 and fill in the answers to the quiz. And then when you come to class, you enter my room, and you will find my box. This is my Bennett assignment drop-off by period. You come in here, and you put it in the 7th period tab. I just made you a new one. Isn't it lovely? Okay, you put it in here. Then on Fridays, Friday is my makeup day. If you put something in there on Monday, I'm not touching it till Friday. I completely ignore it because I hate makeup work so much. Okay, on Fridays, I will empty it out. On Fridays, I will go in there and I will see that it's there, and then I'll record it, add it to the score, done. Okay, any questions on how to make something up? Did I say that you need to tell me you need to make it up? Did I tell you to talk to Samantha Bennett? No, don't talk to me about that. I'm happy to answer other questions, but that is a procedural thing. Don't talk to me about it. Okay, say for instance, you turned in a quiz and I misrecorded it because I'm a flawed individual. I work really hard. I also put a lot of expectations on myself, and I do make mistakes. If I make a mistake, all you have to do is come over here. You will see there is a beautifully labeled box called 7th period. Oh, I'm so sorry, darling. You will come over here and you will find whatever assignment you think I misgraded. So say, for instance, I gave you a 15 out of 19 when you should have gotten a 19. Okay, all you have to do is come over here and grab the quiz sheet. Okay, that is supposed to be a 19, but on Canvas it's a 15. All you have to do is take it out of here and put it in here. I've been doing this for 13 years. I did the math. I know that if I see something I've already graded back in that box, it's because there's an error. Is everyone clear? Okay, so all you have to do is pick up the misgraded assignment and put it in the box, and then I will fix it. Do you need to tell me that this has happened? No, you don't need to talk to me about it. I will see. I will see your quiz sheet that I have a 15 on Canvas, and then I'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, it's because I'm an idiot and didn't score it correct. And then I'll fix it. You don't need to tell me I'm an idiot. I'm very aware. I make mistakes just like everybody else. Okay. Also, in this bin is where all of your assignments are. Your do nows and your focuses are in here, including your quizzes. If you ever want your materials quickly, I would just go every Friday or Monday, Tuesday, whatever day of the week, and grab your stuff. Okay, it's all in here. If you did really poorly on your focus, because you see the score, if you did really poorly on it, you should get it out of the bucket and look at it and figure out why you did so poorly, especially if you're surprised. Now, I will tell you, some of you did a terrible job on your focus, and I am taking notes, okay? Some of you did a terrible job, aka you didn't mismanage your time, even though I warned you and kept warning you. If you're not going to do your work, please leave. It's an open invitation. You can leave. I will take kids who are not that bright, who work really hard, over really bright kids who don't have to think that hard. It's easy for them, but but who don't do the work. Is everyone clear? If you're not going to do the work, please leave. I have better things to do. I would much rather work with kids who are working hard and struggling because I can pull them. If you're just going to be lazy and not complete your assignments, I have no time for you. Please leave. No patience, no time, no will. Yes? So, if you did poorly on your assignments, you should come and get your assignments before class, after class, during lunch. I'm usually in here. You can grab them. If you have any questions about why you scored a grade, I'll be more than happy to help you. The first thing I would do, though, if you got like a 24 out of 30, I would grab one that has 30 and compare the two. I try to be as fair as possible. Now, nothing is perfect, nor am I, and I try really hard to be as fair as possible. Is everyone clear? Okay, so the standards are high, the expectation is high. If you're just not going to do the work, please leave. Everyone's busy. You've had your assignments for a week. I expect them to be done. Is everyone clear? It's not like I gave it to you Wednesday night and expected them to be done Wednesday night. Things happen, and I get it. Every once in a while, every single person in this room is going to miss something. Every single person is going to drop the ball. And I will be there to help you and support you, and like, it's fine. Everything will be okay. But if this is a predictable pattern, nah, please leave. Do we see the difference? Mistakes happen, things arise, absolutely. But I have no tolerance for people who aren't doing their jobs. I have a job, you have a job, do your work. I have a 3-year-old kid. I don't need a babysit. I'm tired all the time. He's cute though. But he's annoying. Cute, but annoying. Questions, concerns, comments. So, if you did not do so well on your focus, it's in that bucket. I would totally take it out before Thursday when you're turning in these assignments. Make sure you're getting your work done. Manage your schedules, people. I'm telling you, okay? Saturdays, I don't respond to any emails. I refuse it. I don't even check my emails. It's my day, and I get to do whatever the hell I want. Sunday is when I spend probably 2.5 hours sitting, working on AP World, AP Gov, answering emails, making sure my stuff is ready for the week. I think it's in the best for you to do something similar. Does that make sense? Sit down, knock it out. Because the moment you finish your focus, it is done for the entire week. Is everyone clear? Like, as soon as you finish it, it's done. There's nothing else until that following Thursday. So the faster you knock it out, the better your quality of life is. That's my big thing. I will say this class, I had the most issues. So if 7th period is going to be the one that keeps dropping the ball, then guys, we gotta figure shit out. Or we can shrink. Did I mention dropping is an option? Okay, just wanted you to know. In case you didn't know, I just wanted you to know it is an option. All right. Perfect. Friendly reminder. Today we're doing a lecture. That's why you have your notebook on your desk, which we're going to transition to here in just a moment. Monday, you have a vocab quiz 1 through 10, ladies and gentlemen. Monday, I'm doing a primary. Tuesday, you have 1 through 20. The vocab, I'm doing a lecture. I will finish content on Tuesday. Wednesday, there's no Bennett. I'm having surgery at some point on Wednesday. I don't know exactly what time. For my thumb. Thursday is your first test day. 25 questions, all multiple choice. The tests are hard. That is why it's so important that you're doing all the other things, yes? Some of you bled points. I think my lowest score in this room was an 11 or an 8 out of 30. Yeah. So, if you're bleeding like that on the focus, nothing's going to pull you up, yes? So that's 30 points. Keep that in mind. What do you got?
Will the test have like quizzes on the dates for?
No, it is all AP style questions, which you will learn to hate those more. Does that make you sadder now? You should be a little sadder. Once we have a conversation, once you see my weekly test, then we can have a genuine conversation what the tests are. Does that make sense? I can't explain it to you until you live it. Yes? So until we live it, it's just kind of like this big, weird kind of thing.
What's
Yes.
the map test?
There is no map test. You'll never have another one. Nope.
It's not a test.
It's not what?
It's not a test on it?
There is a test. It's on Thursday because it's week 2.
On the map.
It's not a map test.
No,
The
no.
content is on week 2's test on Thursday.
But the map we just did, yesterday.
That map is an assignment that is due on Canvas. You could submit it right now. It's worth 10 points. There is no map quiz like we had for regions because that is a specific thing. That's a big, broad thing that will touch every moment of our lives. There will never be another map quiz in this class ever again. All you have is 2 vocab quizzes this week because I'm not here Wednesday.
We do maps every week.
We do maps every week because it's a nice introduction to the content. Does that help? And they're easy. Isn't that nice? There you go. And I like maps. All right. Are we ready? Let's do it. For week 2 is your new heading. So, starting a new page, I think it's easier to write it nice and big in the middle, whatever you want to do. Week 2. We are starting off in Song China. So, your center title is Song China. That is where we're going first. Okay, put a big star. Anytime it's a star, it's a huge idea. It's a huge idea that you definitely need to know. Okay, it's a fundamental AP thing. You need to know that Song China is the cultural foundation of China. Song China is the cultural foundation of China. So all modern customs in China today are directly tied to who? Song China, absolutely. Every dynasty that we talk about from here on out in China is going to be tied in some way to the Song. They are the most influential of all the Chinese, and everything all harkens back to it. Okay? So, you need to know that Song China has a centralized imperial bureaucracy. I would put it in a box because all of China's dynasties have a centralized imperial bureaucracy. Okay? Stars mean that these are huge concepts that are going to transcend the whole course. Every single Chinese dynasty is going to try to harken back to the Song dynasty because that's when they are the most powerful. This is when they're the largest. It's kind of like the West with Europe. Yes? Okay? I see that phone. I see you looking at that phone. You should probably put it away. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, here in the West we're obsessed with Rome, right? The reason why our White House looks like the way it does is to make you think of Rome. Why the Capitol building, Supreme Court building, all of our major, even our courthouse here in Tampa has the huge columns in the middle to make you think of Rome because we're obsessed with Rome. In China, they're obsessed with the Song. All right, here we go. A centralized imperial bureaucracy means the emperor and core elites are the highest people in the government. Elites, E-L-I-T-E-S. Core elites, C-O-R-E space E-L-I-T-E-S. Core elites manage the entire government. That has lots of employees. Okay, so what you need to know about China, and you're gonna put a centralized imperial bureaucracy in a box because every time you see the word dynasty in China, it means it's a centralized imperial bureaucracy. It's centralized, which means the emperor controls all aspects of government. Yes, they make every decision, they call every shot with their elites. The second thing you need to know, it's imperial. If it's imperial, what does it mean it's doing? No. Expanding. Imperial. Rome is an imperial empire. Okay, it's imperial means it's an empire. So you need to know it's expanding. And then bureaucracy. What does bureaucracy mean, Rohan?
It means that, like, bureaucrats hold power.
There you go. Bureaucrats, government employees. Okay? So when you can either have a large bureaucracy or a small bureaucracy. Here in the United States, are we a large bureaucracy or a small bureaucracy?
Here's what I
We've got a 50-50 shot. What is it? Large or small? Turn to your neighbor and discuss. Go. Turn to your neighbor and discuss. Large or small? 5, 4, 3, 2. What are we? Large or small? Small. Welcome to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are small. We literally just had this conversation. You are the best and brightest here at Plan High School because you're still in the AP world. Okay, that means you have the work ethic. It means you have the intelligence to be here. With that being said, are you trying to get a government job? Are any of you looking at me and being like, oh my God, I want to be a teacher just like Bennett? No, because I'm poor. You don't want to be poor. You want to have money. and you're not going to work in the government because you won't get paid. If you want to get paid, where do you go? Private sector, yes? If you work in the private sector, you are not in a bureaucracy, okay? The best jobs are in the government. You are in a bureaucracy, okay? So bureaucracy means that lots of people work for the government, which can mean two things. And this is in big regards, because we're going to talk about the fall of the song today. See, we're going to build them up, and then we're going to break them down today. Okay? The song is going to rise because they're incredibly effective. Okay? We're going to talk about all the things they do. They do a lot of really cool shit. This reason why they fall is why? They paid too many people, they had too many people on their payroll, and it's going to drown them and sink their bureaucracy. So bureaucracies, there's a really sweet spot. If you have too little people, you can't get all the work done, yes? So people are cranky and things aren't working. If you have too many people are sitting around with nothing to do, sucking the teat of the taxes, right? All the money that's coming in isn't going anywhere. You have to find the sweet spot. And finding the sweet spot is really, really hard to do. Here in the United States, we keep a small bureaucracy because it's less people on the payroll, which means the government can spend more money on other things, which is why we have a small bureaucracy. Okay. You need to know that the song, to fill their bureaucracy, creates the civil service exam. And you need to put a box around the civil service exam because if you don't know what it is, you cannot pass this box. It's going to come up 4,000 different times, and it's a quintessential component of AP World. This civil service exam, it's somewhere up here. Okay, so the civil service exam, it was on your vocab, civil, C-I-V-I-L, service exam. All right, it is a 3-day exam, write it down. We're going to take a couple quick notes. It's a 3-day exam, open to any male. In last class, I said anyone could take it, and then someone asked me, oh, women can take it? And then I said, idiots, no, women can't do it. We can't do math. We can't think, right? We're so busy worrying about our looks. As you can see, this outfit took a long time to put together. What do you got? Well, it is. Hold on, I'm getting it. Okay? So the civil service exam means anyone can take it. So poor people, rich people, parents who are in government, all those people can take it. It is based on Confucian principles. Write it down. You have to know that. It's a non-negotiable. Okay, civil service exam is based on Confucian values. Okay, where people who score high get government jobs. People who score high get government jobs. Okay, so everyone wants to score high because everyone wants a government job. Okay, so the best and the brightest are taking this exam. It takes 3 days. You don't need to write this down, but a little fun fact about it. Okay, you show up on test days with a bucket of food and a bunch of paper and pens, and then you walk into a little room, and then they have a little blanket and a little bedroll kind of thing, and then they have a bucket for you to use for the bathroom. And then you sit there. They lock the door for 3 days, and then at the end of 3 days, you sleep and manage your schedule while you're in the room locked for 3 days. And then they read it, assess it, rank them, and then the top whatever, how many positions they have is who they give those positions to. It is a meritocracy. The civil service exam creates a meritocracy in China. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. What is a meritocracy? Jade was kind of talking about it in our Do Now today. Jade, what's a meritocracy? It's like the best and the brightest get the best jobs. Yeah, it's the best and the brightest. So the most qualified get the jobs instead of, my last name is Gates. Clearly, Bill and Melinda's kid. Instead of getting the name because of who my job because of who my parents are, I'm getting the job because I earned it. Now, let's not fool ourselves. Are wealthy people pretty much filling up all these jobs? Yes, of course. Because who can pay for the tutors? Who can pay for the training? Who can pay for all the expensive things to get into it? The wealthy people. Are poor people using it as an opportunity to get into jobs every once in a while? Absolutely. Every once in a while, you get a kid from a poor village who takes the test, does really well, and does really, really well. But how often does that happen? It's not that often. What do you got, Charlie?
they learn like the Confucian principles from school, or do they go to like a
It depends on how wealthy you are, Charlie. If your family is wealthy, then you've had a tutor most of your life in order to teach you these principles, which is why you can do so well on the exam. If you're a poor farming kid, then you're doing this at night after you plow your fields.
Do they go to church?
We're in Asia. We're in China. There's no church.
Like Confucian, is it like a place like?
No, it's a belief system. We're going to get to that actually in here in a few minutes if that helps. What do you got?
Did they only take it once?
I think you can take it twice as the max. Twice is the max, and that's the only thing. Now, we also happen to know there's massive cheating scandals as well. So, of course, you know, like everything else, high stakes, people cheat. But yeah, isn't it fascinating? It's pretty cool. Don't we wish America was a little bit more meritocracy? I do. But if you're super wealthy and your parents are doing really well, you're like, no, don't do it, don't do it. Anyway. All right, innovations is your next heading. Next subheading under song. Okay. When we talk about Song Dynasty, you have to know what they create. The first thing they create is the Grand Canal. Okay? The Grand Canal is a river. It looks like this. Have you ever seen pictures of China where they have these really beautiful arched bridges going over a waterway? That's the Grand Canal. Literally, every time you've really seen a beautiful canal with little cute little bridges going over, it's literally the Grand Canal. You need to know it connects north to south China. Now, there are two rivers in China. What direction do you think the two rivers are going, Emerson? If they build the Grand Canal, what do you think the direction of the rivers are?
From north to south.
If the Grand Canal is north to south, excuse me. If the Grand Canal is going north to south, what way do you think the rivers are going?
Down.
That would be south. No. Donald,
East to west.
east to west. They already have two rivers that cut across the mass of China. So now they've just built a canal that connects north to south. Why would they spend all this money building this canal, Thomas?
Because they need to increase trade.
Increase trade. What type of trade are they facilitating here?
Intra-regional.
Intra-regional, because it's all within.
China.
There you go. So, Grand Canal is facilitating intra-regional trade. It is going to increase movement of goods inside China, which is a huge deal. You need to know steel and iron is a big state secret. Why would they make it a state secret? Okay, this is a new technology. Yes, steel has been a little bit around for a little bit, but it's a state secret, which means the government is keeping it secret from other governments. Why? Why are they doing it? What do you got for me, Izzy?
It can give you an advantage if you ever take close.
What the hell does that mean? Give me some clarity here. With what? Give me some frame of reference. With another country?
Yeah.
Okay, do you see how that would give a little bit more clarity here? Yes, but steel isn't really being used. What is steel really being used for at this point? Yes, we have some swords and stuff, but I mean, this isn't like mass casualties. What is it really being used for, Luke? Farming. You need to know steel and iron are really being used for farming. The difference between a wood plow and a steel plow is tremendous. A wood plow can only go about 3 inches into the ground and till the soil. And it is going to fray, it is going to break, and you're just going to have to consistently redo it, which takes up a ton of time. A steel plow can go 8 inches down, and all you have to do is keep it sharp. It can dull, but it's never going to break, and it will till the soil at a much deeper rate. So which one is going to get a better crop? Wood or steel? Steel. So if we're getting a better crop, okay, every time food sources go up, what else goes up? Steel goes up every time food goes up? That would be wild. Jackson, what goes up every time food goes up? Population goes up. So, with better farming techniques, their population grows. We don't want other regions to have their population growing too much, correct? Because, remember, they're imperial, which means they want to conquer and they want to expand. Okay, you need to know Champa rice. This will be one of your favorite answers. It is quintessentially AP World. Okay, Champa rice. You need to know it's originally from Vietnam. So, if I'm teaching about Song China, and I'm telling you that they got something from Vietnam, what does that tell you about Vietnam? Tyler?
Yes, question.
Thank you for listening. If I'm teaching you Song China and say they got Champa rice from Vietnam, what does that tell you?
They got champ rice.
That's fine, but if they got it from somewhere else, what does it mean they did, Amy?
Vietnam has a surplus of food.
No. Oh my, what do you think? You just hand over food? This precious thing that the world is still struggling with? How often do you see people just handing out free food, even now? Exactly. Nola, what happened?
They're involved in training.
No. What do you got? Marla? Keep in mind, they're imperial, baby. If they're imperial, what does it mean they're doing? Yeah, they're conquering other territories. They're an empire, and you can't conquer any other territories unless you take over. So, they get Champa Rice. They take over Vietnam. They get there, and they're like, holy shit, look at this. This is wild. So, what is Champa Rice? Okay? Champa Rice has 2 crypts. Write it down. Crypts. C-R-I-P-S. Crypts. A year. What do you think a crypt is? Don't tell me crypt walk. It's not really that interesting nor funny. Callie. It's a harvest. It's a harvest. So you can harvest rice twice. So one plant has 2 harvests. Very, very, very few plants have that. So essentially you're getting twice the food. This is a huge deal. This is a humongous deal. Okay, China. Already doing pretty well. The Song Dynasty's in power. They already have a steel plow, so they're already turning up a bunch of food. They're now getting Champa Rice with their conquering of Vietnam. Now they're getting even more food. When more food means more population, which means less people are, because more people are, specialization of labor. So write this down. China is evolving from an agricultural society to a specialized society, and then fully into proto-industrialization. And that's right here if you don't know how to spell it, which is fine. This is proto-industrialization. So, China has started as an agricultural society, okay? An agricultural society, as food has increased with the invention of steel, they are going to start having a lot more specialization of labor, okay? So that means, Callie, people are all of a sudden, I see you on your phone, are all of a sudden, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're looking at me, terrified.
No, this is, I didn't
With specialization of labor, some people get to choose not to farm, correct? So they start building chairs, tables, pottery, and all that stuff. Now we have this third layer of proto-industrialization. Proto-industrialization, write down. Actually, hold on, let me explain one thing to you, and then I'll explain. Okay, since the dawn of time, as soon as we started farming, we've had the men out back, yes? Tilling the soil, doing the heavy lifting, doing man things, grunting. Okay? They're the ones who grow the food. The women are inside, cooking, cleaning, and dealing with the kids. Yes? Okay? Now, the women are in charge of making dinner, for instance. So tonight for dinner, your wife is making chicken pot pie. Okay? So you come home from the fields, and you're hungry and go, food. Well, your girl made 2 chicken pot pies. Hell yes. Okay, remember there's no refrigeration in these time periods. So if it's made, it either has to be eaten or sold. Sold. So women are running the household economics. Women are trying to make as much money inside the house as they can. It takes the same amount to make 1 batch of brownies or 2 batches of brownies. Can we agree? So, with that being said, she's going to go out and sell to the neighbor, hey, you want chicken pot pie for dinner? It's pretty damn delicious. And he's like, yes. And he buys it for a bunch of food for the horses or something of value to the house, okay? That is how home economics works. It's called cottage industry. And we are going to talk about this going forward significantly. Women have been doing this since the dawn of time with thread. Proto-industrialization, and you need to write this down, is when families spend all of their time making items for trade. Parentheses, artisans, craftsmen, merchants. So these are people who are full-time, not farming, and they are making 100% of their profits by selling. That's what proto-industrialization is. Okay? That is what proto-industrialization is then people 100% are spending their times doing and diversifying. Now, put a big star. Put a big star. This is only happening in China till the 1600s. Hot damn. That's a long time. That's a long time. So when you think of proto-industrialization, I want you to think of our modern day concept of shopping. Store after store after store after store after store. And these are just streets and streets lined up of stores of people selling crafts. Traditionally, in your traditional cities, you have maybe a store here, a mercantile here, and maybe a blacksmith over there. There's maybe 3 or 4 options. In proto-industrialization, it's hundreds of stalls. So where does the world go shopping? China. The reason why China becomes the center of the world is because that's where all the goods are. Because they have plenty of food, which has allowed what to occur? Proto-industrialization. Okay? You should know the term industrialization. That is going to start in the 1680s. You're going to have your first real proto-industrialization in Europe where you have cows walking around in a circle pulling all these weights and stuff. And then you're going to have in the 1800s our mechanization, our second industrial revolution, which is when we have all these huge factories that you're really thinking of. Okay? All of that doesn't happen anywhere else except in China till the 1600s. Isn't that insane? That's why the whole world shops there. So what are they shopping for? Write this down. You need to know that they are selling silk. What is silk? What is silk, Jackson?
It's like a fabric.
It is a fabric, but what makes it so special?
Expensive.
Well, it's special, which makes it expensive. What makes it different than like wool?
Hard to get.
Do you know where it comes from? Where does wool come from? There you go. Where does it come from, Viola?
Silkworms?
Yeah, it comes from worms. Have you ever seen a spider web? You know how it comes out of their butts? Essentially, it's worms that have little strings that come out of their butts. That's what it is. What makes silk silk?
Soft.
Super soft. Okay, think in a world where we got cotton, which can get scratchy, wool that is really heavy and super scratchy, and all these other fabrics. Everything else has a lot of texture to it and a lot of weight to it. The silk is like super light. It's really hard to find real silk in 2023. Most of it's polyester, because polyester has that kind of similar kind of feeling to it. Silk garments are still pretty expensive to this day, because not many people buy real silk anymore because you can get a much cheaper product using polyester. Is polyester anywhere near as nice as silk? No. But yeah. Okay. You need to know silk. It is only in China. It's a state secret, right, Mr. Rinkus? Figure it out. I saw your focus this week. I'm not thrilled. Okay? So, you need to know porcelain. What is porcelain, Mr. Rinkus?
It's like a material. They make stuff out of. It's like
They usually make it into one specific thing. What do they make
Pottery.
porcelain? Pottery. Absolutely. Think about it. At your house right now, if you are having a really important party and your mom wanted to pull out the best stuff in the house, she's probably going to go into her cabinet and pull out China. She's going to pull out China and put it out, right? Or all your high holidays, whatever religion you are, you pull out the nicest forks, knives, all that stuff, the plates and stuff, the really fancy plates that you have to hand wash. Those are all called China because originally they were made in China. Now they're usually made in like New England. Connecticut makes a ton of them. Anyway, all right. Luxury goods, the biggest ones are going to be silk and porcelain. You're also going to have some spices coming from China. Some spices are coming from China. But where's the real destination for spices? Where are most of them coming from, Luke? India. Okay, India is going to be the largest producer of spices, but China is also selling them. But silk and porcelain are going to be their finest ones. All right. Okay. Let's talk. Skip it. Your new heading is Confucianism. I told you I'd be back, Charlie. Okay. Confucianism. Okay? Confucianism is the cultural backbone of China. Everything in China ties back to it. Okay? It is just in existence. Okay? We as Americans can't really understand this because our country's only been around for 200 years. The Song Dynasty itself lasted for 450 years. And that's one of 12 dynasties. So, who's been around longer? China. Okay? So, Confucianism, you need to know it's a belief system. What makes it a belief system and not a religion? What's the difference between a belief system and a religion? What do you got? You're fine. Amy, what makes it different? What's the difference between a belief system and a religion?
Religions, whenever you worship somebody in a belief system.
Okay, make it simple, stupid. What G word am I looking for? God.
God. Oh yeah, God.
Okay, religion has a God, a belief system does not have God. Confucianism does not have a God. It's a framework of thinking. Okay? Still in China today, super heavily influential. Your daily life is managed by Confucianism. Your home life or your private life is managed by whatever, like religion or Buddhism, which is not a religion, it's a belief system as well, but we'll get into that complication later, that you follow. Everyone in China follows in some way. I know I'm talking majority, not every single person, follows Confucianism in some sort of component. Okay, here we go. Let me try this again. Okay, for Confucianism, you need to know that it is in the civil service exam. You need to know that. You need to know that it will be one of the continuities of China. The continuity means it never stops or never breaks. Confucianism just continually exists in the world. Think about it. How many things really continually exist from start to finish? Not much. So it makes it special. Can we agree? All right. Your next subheading is political. Okay. You need to know, and we've already talked about, Song China is an imperial dynasty, which means we are expanding, which means we're conquering territories. Okay? You need to know that they create a tributary system, and you're going to put tributary system in a box. Tributary systems are going to be one of the most common empire styles that we'll study. The Mongols are a tributary. The Aztecs are tributary. Your Muslims empire, Islamic empires are tributary. So what is tributary? Listen, and then I'll tell you what to write. Okay? So if we're going to be an empire, and we're going to go conquer Sekir's class. Okay? If we go in there, we have two options with Sekir. He is the leader of their people. We can kill Sekir and say, I'm your leader now. Okay? How do you think they're going to respond? They just watched their leader die. Think about it. China came over here today and came over and killed Biden in front of us. Okay? We would all be like, oh, very, very upset. Yes? There's our president, and he's now gone. The second option is China comes over and takes over and says, hey, you can keep Biden, but you have to pay us a lot of money. What do you think most people do? They mostly allow you to keep your government and pay money. So the conquering army gets two things. They still conquer the territory, but now they're making lots of money. And that's a tributary system. Okay? So Song Dynasty is expanding, and every time they expand, they give them the option. We can set up a government here, or you can run yourselves. And what do most people choose? Run themselves. And then the Song Dynasty still gets tribute, or cash, okay, from these empires, and that's what kind of justifies them having autonomy. So this is what you're going to write down. Empires conquer territory. Empires conquer territory. And offer autonomy. What does autonomy mean? Independence. Okay? Independence. Offer autonomy in exchange for money. Okay? So, I've conquered you. You're mine. You can either pay me and I'll leave you alone, or I will kill your entire government and set up a really, really heavily intrusive government system. Most people will pay for their own governments, yes.
But like, if that were to happen, like, if we were to conquer like these territories, wouldn't it be like really easy for them to like revolt and then like all
Okay, so that's part of the problem that's going to cause the collapse, and we're going to briefly mention that. They get too big. It's hard to manage, right? Okay, you need to know that they are going to, the Song conquer Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. You need to know those are the major territories. Now, today in 2023, China says that they are in charge of what landmass off their coast? Thomas? Taiwan. They say that they control it because during the Song Dynasty, they controlled it. So modern day China is trying to harken back to the Song Dynasty and says, see, it belonged to China all the way back then. It's now ours. And they're trying to harken back to it. Okay? See ya.